our customary Sunday drive to the mall after the Saints lose 26-14 to the Bears. All right. What do we say when the Saints are playing? You a little gun shy now after losing to the Bears? What do we say when the Saints are playing?
Who dat?
Yep. Who dat for life. Even though this organization is run by incompetent people who continue to make bad decisions and trust more incompetent people to try to figure out their incompetence. Anyway, Saints lose to the Bears 26-14. How fit the coach you wanted to hire, Ben Johnson, to replace the coach you fired, Dennis Allen, who put an absolute whipping today. You tried to make it close with the touchdown at the end of the first half, start of the second half, which got you within 20-14. But that's as close as you would get. You wouldn't threaten again. Rattler would throw a couple interceptions in the second half, and
Hi, Dad.
you're just not. Hi, Drew. What are you going to say?
Who dat?
Who dat? Who dat? His vibes are still good. Drew's vibes are always good. I mean, it's great to be Drew. Vibes are always immaculate when you're Drew. Life's good. Not a care in the world. Going to the mall, ride elevators. I didn't pick the Saints to win today. There's just not going to be many Sundays where I pick the Saints to win. What? What? What do you say when the Saints are playing? Who dat? I don't know if this is some badge of honor, but I've correctly picked every Saints game so far this year. Only game I picked them to win was the Giants. They won it. So that's not a back pat. It's just to say I'm not surprised they lost the game. I expected them to lose. And when you look at their road performances this year, it's not been good. I mean, they got embarrassed at Seattle. We sort of complimented them for a close loss at Buffalo, but a close loss was where you gave up 31 points and lost by double digits. And then here you go again on the road. One of the things that's been a major problem for this team has been defense early in games. 4 straight games, you had allowed touchdowns on the first 2 drives to 4 straight opponents. Think about that. That's crazy. And today, you forced a 3-and-out. I mean, you got off the field, 3-and-out, and then on your second offensive snap, Spencer out fumbles. Because your offensive line stinks and your quarterback has no pocket presence. So, they kick a field goal, you get the ball back, go 3-and-out. And they get the ball, they drive down, and they kick field goal. No, forgive me, actually. Forgive me. That's where, forgive me. That's where Quincy Riley came up with his first career interception, which was great to see. Beautiful play on the sideline after a really rough day for the young defensive backs a week ago. Riley came up with the interception. And then, fittingly, Poopy Groupie, as he shall be known heretofore, missed a field goal because that's what Blake Groupie does. That's now his 6th miss of the season. After going 4 for 4 a week ago, right back to what we expected from Blake Groupie. Missed his only attempt today because that's what Blake Groupie does. They should have cut him at halftime. They should cut him tomorrow. It's ridiculous that they continue to give him opportunities. This is the National Football League. This isn't college football where you're a scholarship player, you work through it, you persevere, or enter the transfer portal. This is the NFL. Like, if someone does not deliver for you, you cut them and you find someone who will. You give someone an opportunity. If you feel like Blake Groupie missing 6 kicks so far this season is your best option, then you are not doing your job scouting the available talent and keeping your roster up to date. Because every day in the National Football League is a job interview. Every day there's someone out there trying to take your job, trying to fight for a job to stay in this league. And Blake Groupie just continues to miss kicks. And he has one job. His job is to go make field goals. Like, that's your job. You get paid to make field goals. And he keeps missing field goals. He is not doing his job. I get paid to do a radio show every day for 3 hours. If I consistently didn't show up or left an hour early, I'd probably get fired. Who dat? So after the miss, you hold them to a field goal, and then Rattler throws his first interception, first of 3. Swift gets a touchdown. It got bad at that point. The next drive was just overwhelming. What do we say when the Saints are playing? Who dat? That's where they tried to go with Taysom, and he got a loss. You actually got bailed out on that 3rd and 28. They called it roughing the passer because they hit Rattler high. But you were at 3rd and 28. I mean, it was, you're down 6-0. You get the ball, 3rd and 28. You get bailed out, and then fittingly, Rattler threw the interception there. They would score. I think Dennis Allen was ready for the Taysom Hill package. My goodness. TFL, 3 and out. And look, Saints even tried at the end of the first half to make a play. They went for it on the 4th and 1. Handoff to Alvin Kamara. He gets stuffed. But if there was a glimmer of positivity in this game, it's that in that moment, right? So you get stuffed on the 4th and 1. You give them the ball with 1:38. You force the 3 and out, use your timeout. You get the ball, you go score. Olave scored, and then you get the ball started in the second half. Olave scored again. And so I know some of you, after my comments last week about Chris Olave, who has been a woeful underperformer during his time in New Orleans, considering the fact that he was a first-round draft pick. And I do not want them to give him a contract extension. I would prefer they trade him and get anything for him instead of giving him any semblance of what a number 1 receiver might warrant. Some of you might look and say, well, there he goes, proved you wrong. No. Let me tell you something. Chris Olave is a first-round draft pick. Chris Olave is in his 4th year. In his 4th year in the NFL today, Chris Olave finally had a multi-touchdown game. First multi-touchdown game of his career. 4 years. First-round pick. Kick rocks. Kayshon Boutte, as a UDFA, outplayed Olave last week in the Superdome. I mean, any nonsense about Chris Olave. Oh, congratulations, former first-round pick, number 1 receiver. You had a 2-touchdown game. What am I do? Backflips? Do you want a cookie? What do you want? Freaking first-round pick 4 years into his career finally has a multi-touchdown game, and someone's going to try to flex on that? Kick rocks. No, thank you. Bye-bye. Go be somebody else's problem, dork. Chris Olave. Be back to dropping passes next week. Not hauling in on contested balls. Disgusting. There's a movie called Little Big League. Do y'all remember that movie? Where this 12-year-old got to manage the Minnesota Twins. And there was this guy on the team that was his favorite player, but he was at the end of his career, really good player who's at the end of his career. And so the old veteran bench coach is telling the kid, hey, we should cut that guy. And anyway, he gets a CNI single, and the kid, the manager, goes, you see, I told you could still do it. And the old bench coach says, hey, if you're getting that excited over a routine single, don't you think that's the problem? You get that excited over a former first-round pick having a 2-touchdown game 4 years into his career? That's routine for Justin Jefferson. That's routine for Jamar Chase. That's routine for number 1s in the NFL. For A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf, Stephon Diggs. Look at the number 1s in the Brian Thomas Jr., Malik Neighbors. Look at the best receivers in the look at true number 1s. That's common for them. It took Chris Olave 4 years to make it happen. I'm not interested in re-signing Chris Olave whatsoever. And the news yesterday that they're talking to Olave about a contract extension is disgusting. It's nauseating. Guy sucks. By the way, on top of Poopy Groupie missing a field goal, he also had a holding on the opening kickoff of the second half. Now, thankfully, you're able to overcome that because of a defensive holding. So you did score end of first half, start of second half, but you got bailed out by a defensive holding, which allowed you to keep that drive going. I mean, what was the stat? They had scored on 4 possessions when the Saints had 4 yards of offense. I'll tell you what was beautiful. On that, what was it? It was 3rd and 20 when they throw the ball to Taysom. Oh, nice. Yes. Front row parking, y'all. They throw the ball to Taysom, and then Taysom throws it to Kamara. 31 yards. Looks like you're going to keep yourself in the game. They throw the flag, pick it up, then Ben Johnson challenges it. I'll tell you something, man. You don't have a shot right down the line. There's no way anybody can look at that and say it's indisputable. So what's the standard? We guessing, or is it indisputable video evidence? Because there was nothing indisputable about that. Bogus. Anyway, Bears would go kick a field goal after that. 26-14. That was your final. Rattler threw another pick for good measure. One, he heaved down the left sideline looking for Shaheed, trying to play hero ball. Stupid. I'm not saying Rattler's stupid. I'm saying that was a stupid decision. Especially when one of the things he done well is play within himself. And then there at the end of the game, gets one batted back in his face and gets intercepted. 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, a fumble. Rattler 4 turnovers on the day. You ain't going to win in the NFL. You ain't winning the NFL turning the ball over 4 times. Anyway. Look, the 3rd and 20. Someone say always something with the refs. The 3rd and 20. Listen, man. You're down 9 at that point. You ain't winning the game. Hold on. Big Wade said, how can Olave maximize his potential, have a horrible quarterback throwing him the ball? First of all, you can kick a whole bag of rocks, all right? Because he has had so many opportunities over his 4 years in the NFL, Wade, to make plays. He doesn't make contested catches, as evidenced last week and throughout his entire career. I got a 4-year sample of Chris Olave not making plays. There were 3 last week alone that a legitimate number 1 receiver would make. He does not make tough catches. He doesn't make contested catches. He's an okay, maybe number 2 or number 3 receiver. He ain't a 1. Line up every team's number 1 receiver on a wall. Tell me how long you're gonna count names till you get to Chris Olave. Long time, brother. Long time. Anyway. Hey, Dylan Meadows. What up? Said Team Drew. Hey, do we still love the Saints?
Yes.
I know we do. Marvelous said Rattler ain't a 1 either. I don't disagree with you. I think as the season goes along, what we've seen from Rattler is when he plays within himself and is consistent and doesn't turn the ball over, he's not costing the Saints a game. But he's also not making enough plays to win the game. Now, your defense also stinks. That's something we got to talk about. Your defense stinks. It was nice to see it was nice to see Chase Young back today. Made a couple of plays. That was nice to see. But you're not very good on defense. And so you got to be able to go score, and you just can't score. A lot of y'all talking about John said keep drafting linemen. I get it, man. Look, when the Saints were great, they built through the line of scrimmage. I mean, I know you had Drew Brees. I'm not minimizing that at all. But you didn't build with elite skill guys. You had Marcus Colston and Lance Moore and, Graham was a 3. Kamara didn't come till later. I mean, Pierre Thomas was a UDFA. I mean, they didn't have elite skill guys around Brees. They built through the line. You had at one point, the best guard tandem in the league with Evans and Nix. You had Goodwin and Bushrod. I mean, you were great in the line of scrimmage. You drafted right. You drafted well. And so they've tried to replicate that. They just keep missing. Like, McCoy's a good player. Ruiz is a bust. Penning's a bust. I think Fuaga's a good player. We'll see about Banks early. But, I mean, Rattler was harassed all day today. And to have that much draft capital investment in your offensive line to be that bad is just atrocious. And that is a reflection on Loomis and Ireland and that whole crowd, who are terrible at their jobs. Like, it's what I've been saying forever. Like, they're awful at their jobs. They don't evaluate talent. They don't manage the cap. They don't spend wisely in free agency. I mean, look at Zach Bond, guy you drafted, couldn't figure out how to get him on the field. He goes to Philly, Defensive Player of the Year candidate. Trey Hendrickson leads the league. You can't rush the passer. You had Trey Hendrickson on the team. You don't re-sign Trey Hendrickson. Why? Because your cap's a mess. Because you're bad at your job. Like, it's just a shame because Grandma Gail's asleep at the wheel and she's letting Gumsmack and Mick run the joint despite the fact that he don't know what he's doing. And I'll say it again. The more everyday passes, it's more validation that the success the New Orleans Saints had was solely upon Sean Payton and Drew Brees. Mickey Loomis had little, if any, to do with that, other than the fact that he stayed out of the way. And it's evident. You stink. Your whole culture, organization, roster, everything's eroded. Look at what Sean Payton's doing in Denver. So, going to grin and bear it this year. Hopefully some of those young guys keep getting better. Hopefully Kellen Moore proves to be a good hire. Very skeptical at this point, but it's hard to make sweeping judgments because you got the worst roster in the NFL. You're right there with Cleveland. Maybe Miami. I think Miami's probably got more talent. I'd take Tua over Rattler. Anyway. This is a 1999 Mike Ditka redo. You know, the silver lining, the hope is that you're able to clean up in the draft coming up in April, and as your cap starts to reset, you get more liquid and you're able to go spend in free agency. The real question is who's going to want to come here. You know, guys that have choices aren't going to pick you over contending teams. So that's going to be the challenge. So, cut Blake Groupie. And we're getting close to giving Tyler Shuck a shot. It might be after the bye in week 11, but getting close. Rattler, this is the type of day where if you're Spencer Rattler, you turn the ball over 4 times in a day. You're costing your team a win. So, all right. Congratulations to Dennis Allen on the short list of the worst head coaches in NFL history, but always was a great defensive coordinator. That's undeniable. He was in his bag today. So congrats to DA. The coach you fired, who was hired by the coach you wanted, and they rubbed your nose in shit today. Okay. All right, y'all smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you would. You want to go ride some elevators?
Yes.
All right. Are you eating my socks?
Mwah.
All right. Who dat? Say who dat?
Who dat?
See y'all.